Hey everyone, hope you're doing well today. Got an important video for you. Today we're actually doing another coding problem. We have implementing a queue using a stack. We're going to go a little over about like the queue and how we're going to use it with the stack. And yeah, get right into it. So our question is, implement a first in first out, so the FIFO, queue using only two stacks. The implement queue should support all the functions of a normal queue. So we're going to be using push, peek, pop, and empty. But say like if we're using a queue, it would be more like unqueue, dequeue, peek, and empty. So yeah. Here we have the notes. You may only use standard operations of a stack. So push to top, peek, bot to top, size, and is empty. So yeah, we're going to be using JavaScript for this, like usual. These are constraints. Calls to pop and peek are valid. All right, perfect. Go ahead and get this started. So yeah, first, well, what we're going to want to do for this is when we call for our, I'm going to be using onQ and queue. So when we call our onQ, we push to the stack. So let's go ahead and use this.in. We'll have it in array. All right, so this is our in. This is our first stack. And we're going to have it this.out. And this is going to be our second stack. All right, great. So next, what we're going to want to do, well, I'll explain this a little more. So with this in and this out, when we want to dequeue the values or pop out of the queue, we move out of the stack and push to this out stack. So yeah, that's a little part into that. So next we're on to the push. So for push, we're basically just going to want to do a, like for value we push in. So we'll just do this dot in dot push. And since it's x, we're going to be using x as the function. All right, great. Next, what we're going to want to do is for our pop function. So for our pop function, basically what we're going to want to do is when we want to retrieve the value from the head. So here what we're going to put in is if this dot out dot length is equal to 0, that is equal to 0, while this dot in dot length is less than 0, it's also less than 0, then we're going to want to have the this dot out push the this dot in and pop for that. All right, great. Now that we have that, we can basically return this dot out dot pop. All right, so next what we're going to want to do is, since we are on to the peek, for peek what we're going to want to do is basically do kind of the same thing as the dequeue. So for the peek, we're basically going to be doing that same if statement. So if this dot out dot length is equal to 0, then while this dot in dot length is less than 0, and we're going to have this dot out dot push this dot in dot pop. Basically what we did right above. And when we go to return, we're going to return this dot out. And for this dot out, we're going to have this dot out dot length. And we're going to have this -1. All right, great. So that was for our peek. Next, what we want to do is the empty. And for empty, basically doing as long as the in stack is 0 and the out stack is 0, we're going to be returning. So when we return this dot in dot length equal to 0, we're going to use the and for this dot out dot length is also equal to 0, we'll have a return. All right, great. Let's take a quick look over our code. Make sure that everything is correct syntax. All right, looks good. I'm going to go ahead and run this code. Looks like it was accepted and our test cases went through. I'm going to go ahead and submit. All right, looks like we get a pretty good runtime and also space complexity. So let's go ahead and look over this real quick. So for our onQ or push, we have O1, and that would be for space and time. For DQ, it looks like, or DQ or pop, it looks like we have an ON because we are, worst case, looking over every value. For our peak, it also looks like we're going to be doing ON for our loop. And then with empty, this would just be O1. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, ask for different types of videos that you guys would like. Definitely try this out for yourself. Yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one.